Hey R2. Oh my gosh, moment of truth. It's in pieces. So guys, today I'm gonna be showing you my R2-D2 project. Finally starting it again. It's been about a year on and off. Got it like 95% done one time. And then I took it apart and I haven't worked on it in like 3 months since. Got it in a box right in front of me and I'll show you what the state of things are. So this is the box. As you can see, not exactly ideal conditions. Yeah, it's in pieces. I took it apart to fix it and let's just say it stayed apart for a little longer than I'd like. Yeah, so I've never actually completed this thing. It's kind of been a pain to work on just because there's so many moving parts. Another thing I should note is I haven't worked on this thing in like 3 months. So I'm like 95% sure I have no idea how to put this thing back together. I'm sure this time will be different. Let's get to it. Okay, got all the important gadgets and I think we should take this thing out, try and get the feet on. Oh my gosh. Okay, boom. There's part of a foot. I don't even remember which side it goes on. More feet parts, some feet parts, healthy amount of feet parts for the foot. Okay, I think the smartest way to do this is to get all the parts and try and separate them into 2 piles for each foot and then look at what each foot has and then build it like the other one. That doesn't make any sense. This is the right foot. This is the left foot. So we have right foot, left foot. This is left. Yeah. Okay, so I got both the feet connection points the same. And I got both the motors placed in the feet's housing. And I think all I need to do is attach these 2 axles in between the brackets on there, and then the feet will go on. Which one is right, which one's left? So I'm basically just lining the feet up, and then I guess just pick this up and put it on. Something's wrong. Okay, 1 foot is in. Okay, finally got it standing, which is great progress. Now I think I'm gonna fix the feet a little bit and yeah, probably get the panels on after that. Here we have the feet looking pretty good. They're pretty closed off. So far, only took a few minutes. Now I think we can start testing on the internals. All right, to test all the internals, I think I'm gonna take it up on the table. I think it'd be a little bit easier and my back kind of hurts from sitting. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna test is just to see if it drives. Here goes. All right, it does drive, which is great. 1 done. Okay, I took it off the table because I really do prefer building on the floor, even if it hurts my back. So the next thing I'm gonna test is the 3rd foot lowering. When he like tips back and puts the 3rd foot out. I'm gonna test that part. So, okay. So basically, all I want this thing to do is move up and down because the rotation happens with a different mechanism. All right. Okay, looks like it works. All right, so the next thing I wanna do is see if these functions up here work. So the first one I'm gonna test is seeing if the head will spin. So I got like part of the head. I'm gonna take this off because it's really hard to get on. All right, moment of truth. Oh my gosh, it works. Kind of. One thing I do have trouble with is this head. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that happens. The second function is actually the tipping mechanism for when he like goes back. I know it actually happens right here. There's no way I can fit propulsion and the like tipping mechanism like right here. So I just put it up at this joint. It looks kind of weird, but it's better than nothing, I guess. All right, let's see if this thing works. It should be tipping backwards. I geared it down a lot since it's so heavy, so it does take a while. I might just speed this part up. Okay, I'd call that a success at 90-degree angle, maybe. Well, depends on the way you look at it. It's like a 20-degree difference. Okay, next function is a little taser that's gonna pop out of his head. I don't have the taser attached, so it's just like a little gear rack, but let's see if that works. Oh, sweet. It does work. Nice. Kind of just pops out at the end though. Okay, so the next function to test is this grabber arm. It should just come straight out and then retract straight back. So it's not really extending the whole way. Okay, so this thing broke, so I'm gonna have to take some stuff off and fix it. Okay, so I think the problem is, since the big gears go to a smaller gear and then to the gear rack, I'm pretty sure there's too much torque that causes these gears to slip. So I'm thinking I can move the gear rack up and then just directly connect it to these gears so that there's no torque difference. Possibly, maybe. There's no increase in torque, there's just a little bit more friction because of all the gears. But I think this will work. I just moved this gear chain up 2 plates so these would mesh correctly, and then I'll just slide the gear racks on here. Once I get this in, it should actually work well. All right, that's great. I didn't think it would work that well. Okay, so when I said I saved the hardest for last, I really meant it, because the next function we have to do is this saw right here, which is, it uses 2 motors, one to like eject it out, and then the other one to spin the blade. And to get enough outward length, I'd use a lot of gear racks, and they're really kind of flimsy, especially when you try to make the saw as thin as possible. So this is kind of like loose, and it likes to break a lot, which is really annoying, but yeah. Okay, to show you how this thing works, I think I'm just gonna take it out because it would be easier to service it outside of the body anyway. So I just need to remove that. Okay, so this is like the track, and this is where it rests. Here's the complete assembly. It's a mess, honestly. So basically this gear turns that, and that will move up. And I have cheese slope and tile, so when it gets to the end, you can see it kind of like droops. So when it gets to the end, it will actually straighten itself out. which is nice. I'm gonna put a motor on here, and then I'm gonna see if there are any issues just running it outside of the model, and then see if there are any issues when I put it back in. I got a universal joint connecting the drive gear to the motor. I had an extra long axle here, so whenever it's meshing with the drive gear, if it comes out a little bit, then it won't disengage. Receiver, 2 motors. First off, we're going to extend the saw blade. That worked, and now we're going to spin it. Okay. Okay, that was pretty successful. Now I'm gonna reattach it to the build and test it. Okay, here you can kind of see the rocket assembly. It's basically this little part here connected to a linear actuator, some awful gear system, and that eventually connects right back here. The issue is basically everything. It doesn't work like at all, and I really don't want to have to take all this stuff apart. So what I might do is just try and run something parallel to each side. Okay, so I've been working on the rocket booster problem for about an hour, and I think I might have solved the issue. Basically, I just made a whole gear chain and attached a motor at the middle. So I'll show you what it looks like and test it. Okay, so here's the gear chain. I have the 2. One's connected to the axles on the end and motor in the middle. Yeah, so I'll move this back a little bit and see if it works. All right, looks pretty good on both sides. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna try and fix the head before I put all the other panels on, just to make sure it doesn't like run into anything. But I'm gonna try to reinforce it just so it doesn't break so easily. Get everything situated, so let's go. I got the bottom piece and the top piece of the head connected, but only by a point here and a point here. So these are kind of floppy. So if you look underneath, there are some open studs that need to be flipped to connect to this. So I think I can put these little 1x1s with bars inside of the open stud and then connect a plate, and hopefully these will mesh correctly height-wise with the brick. Got 4 per side on a 1x4. Hopefully it'll just snap in and line up. No way. Yeah, it actually fits perfectly. That's great. The other side. Okay, there we go. Pretty solid, won't break. Looks good. Okay, now we can fit this on. I think this just plops in. Just connects here, 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 and here. Here's the top. It's kind of a mess underneath. It's not really that sturdy either. I'm gonna have to see why everything's moved. Oh, they're not connected. So that looks pretty good. I think we just drop it on. All right, that looks pretty good. Pretty promising. Maybe a little oblong, but circles and Lego aren't the easiest thing. Now, I think we can just take all this apart, or at least take this apart. And now flip it upside down and figure out how to connect this to here. Okay, so I'm guessing I'm just going to extend this up by putting bricks on this main support instead of trying to connect it perfectly on the bottom. Okay, got the goods. Now we can start building this up. Okay, quick progress update. I got a lot of the feet done. As you can see, they're a lot more rounded off. I got these sections right here done completely. I still need to connect these wires, but I think I have a long tube that would fit without having to connect any. So I think I'll find those and then I'll go ahead and attach the body panels. Found these two hose pieces in my bin of despair, and I think I'll put these on here and then see if we can figure out how to put all those panels on here as well. Now it's time for the panels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. It's a lot. So I think this is the middle piece. So I think this will connect here, just like this. Go right there. I guess I need to find the other half of these, like this. This probably goes here. I'm guessing this goes in between the leg. Next side, snap these into place. Boom, bam. Okay, there we go. All right, now we can just flip this around, lock these into place. Boom, just like that, our plastic trash can is complete. I think we can stick his head on now. All right, eye thing. Oh, this is looking good. And then his head thing. Yo. Look at this guy. I also made these little guards to go around this exposed bit on the side. Thanks for watching. See you later, I guess.